Okay, scales. So first thing to recall is diagram and actual. So we have diagram dot dot actual, and then converting that to a fraction, the D value goes on top, the actual value goes on the bottom. So D stands for diagram numbers or values, and A stands for actual values. So we have the drawing is 8 centimeters, the actual is 60. Remember, our units must be centimeters to centimeters. Watch out for your maps. Okay. So the scale to create the picture would be 8 to 60. Reduce this lowest number to 1. Always the lowest number gets reduced. So we have to divide by 8. And so we're going to do that to the same other side. Divide by 8. What do we get? 60 divided by 8. We get 7.5. Okay. Now, sometimes that's appropriate and we'll leave it like that. Other times we'll times them by 2 to get 2 to 15. So we don't have a decimal. We wouldn't give you both of those as a correct answer. Okay, we'd give you one or the other. Any questions about that? Okay, so what's the scale factor? Well, what we like to do then is we go 1 over 7.5 as a fraction, and then we convert it to a decimal number. So top divided by the bottom, and we get 0.13 repeat bar over the 3. Okay, so 0.13 repeating. Any questions? Okay, number 2. The distance on the map measures 2.5 centimeters. The scale is 1 to 600,000. So what we want to do is convert our answer to kilometers. Why don't we convert that to kilometers first? Okay. So we have 600,000 centimeters. So we're going to times that by 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Times that by 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So our units cancel. And most of you are probably just going to do this on your calculator because you realize, hey, I'm just really dividing by 100, then dividing by 1,000. And so we get 600,000 divide by 100 divide by 1,000. That equals 6 kilometers. So our scale could be 1 centimeter represents 6 kilometers. That equals 2.5 centimeters. And you've got to figure out x. And that'll be in kilometers. Okay, because the bottom of our fraction is in kilometers, that means x will be figured out in kilometers. Okay, so you can convert it first. Okay, cross multiply. Go ahead, solve for x. We get 1 times x equals 6 times 2.5. Go to our calculator. 6 times 2.5 equals 15. So this would be 15 kilometers. Careful with your units. We did switch them. That's why it's kilometers and not centimeters. Any questions? Besides, why does it mean late? So the figures. Eating food and it doesn't bring me any. It's like 2 strikes, man. One more. No thanks, I'm good. Okay, I'm just biting anyways. So A, why is A, are they similar or not? What do you guys think? Do you know enough information? You do? Absolutely. So we have 2 rules for triangles. You want to check the angles. If you have same angles, that means they're similar. Or corresponding sides in the same ratio. So A, which reason is it? Sorry, but we have 110, 40, 30. No, they're not the same. 110 is not 40, folks. How could it be the same?
180 minus 40 minus 30.
What are you doing that for? I don't understand. Because why? What are you doing with that? You just like saying numbers for fun of it?
Yeah.
No, you're not. Why? What's the reason? Tell me.
Because they all have
What's your point? What are you doing with those numbers? What are you finding?
find the last.
Oh, bingo! Make sure you find all the angles first. Okay, so Sean doesn't want to say it. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's shy or something. But he's going 180 minus 110 minus 30 to find that the top angle is 40 degrees. And he's doing the same thing. So don't just look at the triangle, stop thinking, right? Find all the angles first. This one will be 180 minus 40 minus 30, and it equals 110. So we actually do have all the angles. We found all the angles, and yes, it's similar because same angles. You want to make sure you understand the reasons, okay? So yes, it's similar because the same angles. Okay, B. B, what do we have to check? The ratio. Yeah, the ratios. So which triangle do you want on the top? Which one do you want on the bottom? Kyle?
Left over right.
Sounds good, Kyle. So we have left over right, or left triangle. What said Kyle? Left triangle is 3, 4, and 2.5. Okay. So line them up with the triangle on the right side, and then figure out what the ratios are, please. Go ahead, do that. So 3 divided by 9 is 1/3, or 0.3 repeating. Underneath the 4, I'm going to line that up with what? 12. Okay, that's 0.3 repeating. And 2.5 lines up with 7. And that again is what? 2.5 divided by 7. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah. So they're not similar. Okay. They're not similar, and the reason why is because sides are not in the same ratio. Okay. Now you have to line up the big sides, the small sides, and the medium sides. Okay, they do have to match that way. Or you can look at the name, the names match.
You wrote down are not a same ratio.
Not similar because sides are not in the same ratio. Thank you. Perfect. Can't. All right. Any other questions? Harmy? What? Well, I was just thinking of something to say, but I'm going to be nice today. All right. Let's go to the next one then. What about this one? Angles are the same, yes. So they're similar? Must be, right? No, I see head shaking. Absolutely not. For any other shape, you have to have both reasons. So you have to have same angles and same ratios. Okay. So the angles are check. Okay, but what about the ratios? So we're going to have 15 divided by 6 and 6 divided by 2.4. So check them. Go. So yes, they're similar because they have the same angles and the same ratios. Okay, so then we start setting up some proportions. They both equal 3/4, so you have two separate questions. One of them is 3/4 equals 17 over y. And the other question is 3/4 equals x over 8. Go ahead, solve them both for x and y. Cross multiply. Okay, so 22.6 repeating, all around to 22.7. Hands up if you got that. This is the classic one where you have the unknown in the bottom. You're going to see it. Okay, you need to be able to solve those. This one is easy on the other side because you don't have to do complete cross multiplication. You only have to remove the divide by 8. So 3 times 8 divided by 4 equals x. 24 divided by 4 equals x. So 6 equals x. Hands up if you got it. Awesome. Got to be able to solve those. That's the bread and butter. And you don't want to go hungry. Okay. Turn it over. Try the next question, please. Okay, so it says they're similar. One thing to keep in mind is that these angles are the same. They're opposites, or vertically opposites. When two lines cross, the angles that point at each other are the same. Okay, so decide which triangle you want on top. Maybe Kyle can choose. Left, okay. Right on the bottom. It doesn't matter, you just got to keep it the same. So put your left triangle values on the top. X, 15, and 8. Now match up with the right triangle on the bottom. Okay, so there's the sides that match up. 12, 10, and y. X over 12 equals 15 over 10 is one question to solve. Now we got lucky because 15 over 10 was in the middle. It doesn't have to be there. We can still separate our two separate equations exactly the same. Okay. So now that you have two separate questions, go ahead and solve. X equals 18, y equals 5.3. Hands up if you got that. Yes. I like seeing your hands because I know I did my work right. That's really why I do that. Just to let you know. Okay. That's sarcasm again. B. I'm checking to see if you got it right. B. X and Y only. Okay, so we have a couple other missing sides like this one. Don't care, don't care. So this one's just a little more complicated. You need to set up with your fractions. Which shape do you want on the top, the large or the small? Hepner? Small. And the large on the bottom. Okay. So you have 4 values. Let's make 4 fractions. Although we might not need all 4. Let's just set them up just in case to see what's going on, okay? So in the small one, we'll do x, 15, 20, and 17, and then line up the other ones. You're right, they should go on the bottom because they're from. I said that, yes, I made a mistake. I didn't say the other part. Okay, now I'm recording. Yeah. Just like those other guys outside my class flexing, eh? Yeah. 15. What goes underneath 15? Don't know, right? Okay, it's this one right here. So that's good though, because you never know. Okay. 20 lines up with 7.2. That's the fraction that's important because we know the top and the bottom value. Then 17 lines up with y. So look at the angles to help you set it up properly. The sides have to match with the same angles. So this one we're just going to ignore, this question mark over 15. It's kind of useless to us. And so we're going to set this 8 over x fraction equal to 7.2. And that fraction also equals to y over 17. Okay, solve for x and y. Go. Okay, x equals 22.2, y equals 6.12. Hands up if you got those. Okay, good. So these are the very simpler ones. There's not a lot of trickery going on. You just have to be careful, though, and make sure you have your fractions set up properly. Okay. Then looking at the next one, we have a little bit of trickery. What's the trickery on the bottom one? Taylor?
You have to find x and then you have to add 6.
Right. And the reason is this entire side length of the large triangle is x plus 6. Okay. So we have to be careful, make sure we use that with the large triangle. Now, do you guys want a hint? Well, I won't give you a hint, but I'll give you some advice. Meaty. Well, first of all, the advice would be to finish your character assignments. Show some caring. The next thing is, because we have x plus 6 in the big triangle, when we're setting up our fractions, if we put the big triangle on the bottom, that means x plus 6 goes in the bottom. That's not as easy as if x plus 6 is in the top. So sometimes you can look ahead and put your unknown triangle, the big one, on the top, and then the small one on the bottom. Okay, so looking ahead, that makes it easier, but it's not, as you can see with the above example, it might not always be the case, right? Because one here, x is on the bottom and y is on the top. So keep that in mind too. You gotta be able to solve both situations, but it does make it easier. Okay. Go ahead, solve this. See what you can do. Okay, x equals 30. How many people got that? How many people showed the work a bit differently? Okay, what'd you guys do?
I put a 6 at the top, multiplied by 20.
Oh, so you multiplied the whole thing by 6? That's good too. I like that, Deshaun. Okay, so what Deshaun did is he, instead of just doing the cross multiplying, he used this skill, and it works out exactly the same. Good job. Okay. Anything else? Anyone do something different than that? It's just one way of doing it for sure, is multiplying it. And you've seen that before with a lot of other questions. Now, I just want to show you an alternate method because it's always good to see different things. What do we want to get rid of here on the left side first? What do we want to get rid of first? Yeah, divide by 6. So what's the opposite of dividing by 6? Timesing. So we get x plus 6 equals 6 times 18 divided by 3. So we could get rid of this fraction just by multiplying by 6, which is kind of, it's like a different variation of what we're doing. Okay, so we get x plus 6 equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. Actually, 18, 6, 36. Okay, and so then we get x equals 30. So we just showed you 3 different ways to solve the same question. Just pick one, no one, all right, and use it. All right. You don't see true cross multiplication all the time. You don't see this happening all the time. But this one that Deshaun did, where you can multiply it by a common denominator, that works every single time, no matter what I give you. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, that's it, folks. That's a wrap.